I'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast. Mark Boersma for Dummies, and today we're going through want to be accountable to have people in your life. And collectively, we can make more of our time count. That I'm telling you right now, this guy is going to be your best friend. And so, um, I don't know why this is so hard for people to understand. Well, I do. So accountability is it's just goofy. I mean, and men are the goofiest of them all. I mean, women aren't far behind them. But men, it's just, and especially Christian men, it's just hilarious. Like, it's just funny. And the more powerful they think they are, the goofy. They haven't read Malcolm Gladwell's David and Goliath. Like, if you ever get a chance to go through the PB church, that's a different church. You'll never experience a church like that ever, like ever. And you think you're a tough pastor? You think you're preach the word. We preach the word. Yeah, yeah. Act like men. Yeah, we're really tough. Really? Yeah. Go to the PB church. It'd be fascinating if you can last one Sunday, one sermon. It's just so we were. I was teaching an adult Sunday school class at Emmanuel Baptist Church in Warrenville. Holy cow. Man, am I glad I spent over 20 years of my life there, gave them the best I had. Yep, glad for that. And so, I'm teaching the adult Sunday school class, and I can't get the goofballs in the class, the adults. But again, now I've learned they're adults. Don't care about them. Don't care. So I didn't know that. Why didn't somebody tell me that? So I'm trying to actually get them to actually, like, can you guys apply the lesson? Can you apply the lesson? Like, we have a lesson. So you come to church and you go ahead and shake your head, you do all this stuff. Do you do anything with it? Jeepers. So I tried things for kids. Like, I had these little posters and I had little stars. So you get a star. Like, okay, so we learned this. Are you going to do something with it this week and put little stars? I tried everything. Nothing worked. Nothing worked. Couldn't motivate them, couldn't get them off their butts off their seats. It was so crazy frustrating. So I'm what? Probably in my 30s. And I'm like, I mean, why do we come to church? For crying out loud. So I say to them, I say, hey, I'm not praying with my wife. I'd like accountability. So, a couple of them, it's not a big church. It's not a big class. There's 15 adults in it, whatever. Um, it's funny when pastors say they're like Jesus. I don't think you understand. Internalize that. Like, how many disciples did he have? He got crucified. You want to be like him? Well, really? Anyways, so it got back to Dale Williams, who at that time was like one of my closest friends. Like, he was like best friend. And it's fascinating because he said, Mark, he comes up, he says, I hear a rumor that, it's an open rumor. I'm saying it. I don't care. Like, I hear a rumor you're not praying with your wife. I said, that is true. He says, I know how to fix it. I'm like, okay, go for it. Yeah, fix it. He's like, don't you want to know what it is? I'm like, no, just do it. He's like, really? Like, yeah. He's like, I was going to go ahead and announce it in front of the whole church that you don't pray with your wife. I'm like, okay, yeah. Did he do it?
Nope.
And the others asked once or twice. Then there was this little, I don't know, 5-year-old kid, and his dad was in Randy Smith, and Randy Smith was the dad, and his son was like, I don't know, 5, 7 years old, and Randy Smith went ahead and and told his son. So his son comes up to me on Sunday morning and said, Mr. Boersma, he says, are you praying with your wife? I'm like, no, buddy, but that's awesome. Then he comes up on Sunday night and he asks, Mr. Boersma, are you praying with your wife? I'm like, no, but I appreciate you. Man, you go, buddy. Then he comes up on Wednesday night, asks the same thing. He didn't do it a week. He was relentless, like a 5-year-old boy. He was more of a man than all the men in the Sunday school. And Dale Williams, the pastor. Like, come on, buddy. Gave you permission. Just announce it before the whole church. Why is this so hard for men to understand?
Did you ever think that maybe he didn't? Because if there would have been something that, like, he didn't want to be called out, and he was afraid that there would be a time where something like that would happen, and he didn't want to be called out, so he didn't do it to you, out of fear that he would sometime look bad.
Yepper. Yep. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So they're not. So a pastor who goes to Faith Baptist Bible College gets his degree. He doesn't understand we're to fear God, not man. He doesn't understand. That's a basic 101 pastor thing. How hard is that to understand? But he doesn't understand it. He doesn't do it. So, I think I shared with you guys about Dr. Greening, who ran the GRBC, went to him. He said, hey, Mark, we don't keep people like you because you actually have a vision. The only reason we keep them is because you value the Bible. Like, hello. Like, I don't know. It's the word of God. Like, but people don't understand the Bible. They just don't. Pastors especially. It's crazy. Like, it's just absolutely crazy.
So Mark, would you say that if they don't understand it, that they don't value it?
Yeah. But they think they do, Elaine. They think they understand it. They think they value it, but they don't.
Right.
And it's insane. It's like crazy. It's like absolutely crazy. It's like after 10 years of teaching adult Sunday school class, like, why didn't I have the coaches, non-caring coaches back then when I was 30? Mark, you don't have to care for adults. Dang, that'd have been a lot easier. Cheapers. Like, I thought I was supposed to. I thought that you're a shepherd. Or you're a pastor, you have sheep, you're a leader, you're supposed to care. Well, what if they're adults? No, just don't care about them. There's eternity on the line, for crying out loud. Nope, don't care. Okay, got it. Copy that. Didn't know that at then. So then I go and say, okay, this stuff isn't working. 10 years. It's like it's not working. And I'm like, maybe it's the curriculum. Like, it's the material that, like, maybe I'm not the problem. Like, I'm thinking for 10 years, I'm just suck as a teacher. Like, I just suck for 10 years. And I'm like, well, maybe it's not you, Mark. Maybe it's the curriculum. So I'm like, okay. And GRBC Church. And again, if you're in a part of the GRBC, I'm telling you, you don't understand. The GRBC, they protect child molesters. They don't call things out. They know that there can be a man. They know that there can be a man out there, and he's watching nursery, and he sexually abused his daughter when she's 12. And they don't do anything. There's nothing we can do. Unless the pastor. What if the pastor's in with it? Like, are you guys cheapers? So if you're part of a GRBC church, get out of it. Just get out of it. And if you're part of GRBC leader, like if you know a GRBC leader, I'm telling you, like these dudes, they won't even address it. They won't return phone calls. They put their heads in the sand. Are you kidding? Nope, not. This is true. It's a true story. Like, it's like, you can't even believe this stuff. You won't even talk. Nope, won't even have a conversation. So I'm like, I'm going to develop my own curriculum. I'm going to write my own curriculum. So I go talk to the pastor, again, best friend of mine, right? And my dad started the church. So, I mean, and I'm not taking over the whole church or the whole Sunday school. I just want whoever wants to be. It's called Operation Gideon. So it's called Operation Gideon. And so I develop like the curriculum, like to go to the pastor, again, my best friend, right? Best friends are they're awesome. Oh my goodness. And I give all kinds of money to the church and I support the church and I'm there and I'm faithful, do whatever is needed to be done. And I say, hey, it's not working with the adult Sundays. It's not working. Like 10 years I've been doing this. It's not working. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to go ahead and create my own curriculum and just take a handful of people, like Gideon did. Like, doesn't have to be the whole church. Doesn't have to be just a handful. Let's test it. Like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Like, just test it. But what Dale Williams didn't understand is he's like the king. He doesn't understand God, the poor guy. I feel bad for him. So he's like, no, you can't do it. Excuse me? So my youngest brother, Ken, he was the associate pastor. And he goes and advocates for me. And he says, hey, Dale, Mark, like he's the founder of the church. Like he's biblically the guy, like he's solid. He's not gonna, and he's gonna run the curriculum if you need to run it by you. Like, and so finally my brother convinced Dale to do it. So I have, 3-4 people in the class. One of them is Michelle Taves, brand new Christian, well, baby Christian. So she goes through this Operation Gideon. And she goes ahead and she comes up after a couple of weeks and she says, I'm trying to share my faith at work. Dang, we never got that before with the other curriculum. I'm like, okay, I'm excited. I'm like, wow, like you're actually doing something with it? You actually care about your coworkers? And she's like, I'm like, wow, that's really awesome. So Michelle, what's happening? And she's like, well, they're making fun of me. I'm like, oh, well, that sucks, doesn't it? So we talk some more and, kind of help her through it and help her to navigate. This is how you can navigate. Doesn't mean you shouldn't, but hey, wisdom and how do you do that? And how do you move that and ask questions? And so how do you go through that? So I kind of did that. And the next week she comes up and she said, there's a guy, his name is Dan, and at work, and he's about ready to get fired and he doesn't know it. I'm like, ooh, that's not good. And she's like, yeah, and his wife, it's just about ready to divorce, and the kids, everything in his life is crashing and burning. I'm like, wow. She's like, what do I do? I said, I don't know. You want to go out to lunch with him, you, me, and him? And she's like, can we do that? It's our own curriculum. We can do anything we want. Like, you mean actually apply it? She's like, I don't know. Can we do that? I'm like, sure, why not? She said, what do I say to him? I'm like, I don't know. It's up to you. You can say, hey, I go to this church and I have this wacky Sunday school teacher. And I was kind of sharing that you're having some challenges and he's an executive coach. And, he said, hey, you want to go out to lunch? Maybe he can give you some input, on life or whatever. She's like, ooh, she actually did it. Like in a few weeks, we accomplished more in a few weeks than we did in 10 years. Like, I'm in heaven. I'm like, wow, like we're in the trenches. Like, this stuff actually works. Curriculum works. Jeepers. This is awesome. So she goes ahead and goes ask him. She comes back next Sunday. She says, Mark, you're not going to believe it. Dan wants to go out to lunch. I'm like, game on, girl. Like, yeah. So we go out. The three of us go out to lunch. And we're at lunch at this restaurant. And so, we have some small talk and kind of introduce ourselves. And then I go ahead and say, hey, Dan, Michelle said you're having some challenge in different areas. Happy to help you out, and so he's like, okay. And I said, we could go ahead and talk about, we could talk about your career if you wanted to, or, your marriage or your kids or, spiritually. So why did I, put spiritually at the end? Because I don't know, it's a wisdom principle. You just, whatever they go ahead and ask at the end of questions, you give people options, they tend to choose the last one. So I'm hoping spiritually, because I'm thinking, I'm Baptist. I'm thinking everything revolves like around God and Jesus. And you know what? You go ahead and do that. You read the Bible, go to church, everything gets fixed. So I'm just thinking, hey, he gets Jesus, everything's going to be fine. So that's what I'm saying. And so I said, yeah, so we could talk about any one of those and lay it out. And which one would you like? And guess what he chose? Yeah, spiritual. I'm like, this stuff works. Like, it works 10 years and finally something's working. I am so pumped, so excited. Michelle is like mouth wide. I mean, this is within minutes of being there. Minutes. And so I said, well, tell me a little bit about, spiritually, what's your background? I'm Catholic. Okay. So I said, we talk a little bit about that. I said, has anybody ever given you like the biblical requirements to get to heaven? And so again, I'm Baptist, right? So I don't know how much you guys know about Baptists, but Baptists are pretty clear on, this is how you get to heaven. So I was Baptist, still am, still go to, well, do I? I mean, PB Church is definitely not a Baptist church. It's definitely not. But anyways, so I say, well, and then I gave him what's called in the Baptist, it's the Romans Road. So I explained to him essentially, hey, the three requirements the Bible says you need to get to heaven is you need to know you're a sinner. So Dan, do you know you're a sinner? I do. Okay. Second is that you believe that Jesus Christ died on the cross and paid the penalty for your sin. Do you believe that? And he said, I do. And I said, now those two are a good start, but that's where the devil's at. Like the devil knows people sin. The devil, you're just where the devil is. The third is the most important. And that's where you accept him into your heart to be your Lord and Savior. And he's like, oh. I said, have you ever done that? He says, I haven't. I said, okay. Would you like to do that? He said, I would. And I said, would you like to do it now? He says, well, how would I do it? I said, well, it's really a heart thing. It's not like words. It's not like going to church. It's a heart thing like you. And so I tried to explain that to him. And he's like, okay. And I said, a lot of times I'll pray and then I'll say some things, you follow up. It's not the prayer. It's not the words. It's the heart thing. But yeah, I could pray and then you could, you repeat and that's kind of how it often works. And he looks at me, he's like, you mean here in front of everybody at the restaurant? I said, well, I mean, it's up to you. He said, can't we just shake on it? Sure. For me, they shake his hand. Like, I've never had this happen before. Like, it's so cool. It's like, and Michelle, her mouth is wide open. She, oh, oh, like, oh, like, oh, like. So she has an experience that most Christians never have in their life. Ever have in their life. And then she calls me later because they drove together in the same car, drove back to the office. And she said when they were in the office parking lot, he said, "Hey, Michelle, can we pray what Mark was talking?" So he took the initiative and did that. Now, you think, like, in a few weeks, we accomplish more than we do in 10 years. You think that Dale Williams is going to be like, dang, like, holy, like, let's take this to the whole church. Nope. But it gets better than that. So this guy goes ahead and so he becomes a Christian. Then he comes to church with his wife and his kids, everything, his job, everything gets better. It works just like, the pastors say it works. So then we go ahead and finish. So we finish the course, and a lot of cool things happen. I mean, a lot of cool things happen. So I'm thinking, wow, this is crazy. We're going to do it again, obviously. I mean, we accomplished more in a few weeks than we do in 10 years. And I'm like, we're going to do it again. We're going to do it again. And Dale says, no. I'm like, what? Yeah, no. I don't even know if my brother tried a second time. I'm just like, you got to be kidding.
Did he have a reason for it?
He's analytic amiable. I mean, So yeah, I'm sure he did. Did he tell me? I don't know. Did I know at that time that, what people say the reason is not the real reason? They're liars. That's not the real reason. I mean, it makes no sense. There's so many stories of those, and this is why pastors don't like me, especially Baptist pastors don't like me. Because they get up and they go ahead and preach, and it seems like nobody does anything with what they say. And they come back next week and they do the same thing. It's like an addiction. But when you actually do what's being preached, pastors don't know what to do with it. Like there's somebody actually in the congregation that actually does it. It's just fascinating. It's fascinating to me on how people care about things. You'd think that a Christian would care about eternity of somebody else. Like, do you believe what you're being taught at church? Do you believe that people are going to hell? Do you care about that, or do you care about something else? Or do you not care about anything or anyone other than yourself? I mean, it's just, people are, like, people, like, they don't internalize anything in the Bible. They just don't. They don't put themselves in that situation. So you'd think that I would be smart enough to say, "Hey, Mark, get out of that church." But I wasn't. And I kept going. So, you think you want accountability, the amount of things I could do. That's what I do for a living. What I've done for 34 years is accountability. Make our time on this earth count. And I'm telling you right now, this guy is going to be your best friend. But people don't want to make their time on this earth count. They talk it, but they don't want to do it. But what Jim says next is so profound. And so we'll pick this up in the next podcast. And this is something that people don't understand. Even people closest to me. My mom, my dad, my brothers, my wife, my kids, they don't understand it. But you need to be warned also. And that's the fact that if you don't want that, if you just want to go through the motions and just keep walking down the road blindly to the things that are tripping you up and keeping you from everything you need to be, what does that mean? Then this guy is going to expose you pretty quick. You might just want to move on. You know, if that's you and you don't have a desire to grow, a sincere desire to grow, this is going to be the worst thing you ever made up your mind to do. People don't understand that. They just don't. Why? Because Jim said, Tom Kuhn said, Peter Miles said, there's so many people that have said, I've never met anybody like you, Mark. I think I'm just average, below average kind of guy. But at 8 years old, God said to me, if you're a good steward with what I have, you'll change the world. So I think anybody can do it. Questions?
No.
Thoughts? It gets more interesting as you get deeper down into it. You're like, huh, like, huh. Huh. Yipper. Thanks for participating. Appreciate y'all. Bye.